Hi, I'm Mike Maloney, and welcome to another CSRM podcast. Today's episode is hosted by Dr. Greg Linville.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another CSRM podcast as we continue with our series, Reach Reflections. And as you've been watching this, you know that this is in partnership with Uncharted Water Sports as well as Seed Sports. And we're talking about this partnership because the REACHGathering has been around for almost 10 years now. And we talked about where it came from, how it morphed into this partnership and what it is today. We've talked about who should come, and that means you. And we would love for us to kind of continue the conversation and for you to hear this, maybe to answer the question, well, how can I get involved? What can I do right now? And so I'm going to go ahead for the sake of time and just open up with that question. So, gentlemen, the floor is open. What can someone do to get involved and participate beyond coming to Reach right now?
I remember after the first Reach, it was only the three of us, and we only originally planned it for 1 year. Now we might have said that we might have had in our mind we were going to do for many more, but it's like we're going to see what happens. And I'll never forget the conversation because it was in the fall. It was somewhere in like November, and we're talking, we can't do that again. We got to get some other people involved if we're going to do this again. We think it was a good thing. We think we ought to do this again, but there's no way the three of us can handle that again because it was a major. Do you guys agree with me when I say that? To kind of remember that? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Our wives might have all said, "You can't do that either." So we initially said, "All right, well, we want to recruit some local churches," and so that's what we did. We recruited some local churches to be what we call foundational partners, and that's CSRM, UW Sports Ministry, and Seed Sports were the foundational partners back then. And so we recruited 4 churches, 3 initially, and then a fourth one joined us later. And they provided both what we call directional and organizational leadership, but that's a lot for that small group to carry. And so several years ago, we changed that structure into 2 distinct groups where we have directional leadership by the foundational partners and what I call functional leadership by a group of work teams. And so we have a number of work teams that are all served with people that are in sports rec and fitness ministry in the local church. And so there are a number of those teams that include things like communication and marketing, that include diversity and welcoming new people, that have to do with a mentoring emphasis initiative that we have in Reach, that include just handling all the program, location, do the tracks and handling all that organizational aspect of it. So those are typically 4 to 5 to 6 people, and we would welcome anyone to join those. On the website, there is a description of these and the head of each of those work teams, that if you'd like to get some further information, you go to reachgathering.org, find that I think there's a tab that says that on the website, and then you can contact that person that's involved in that particular work team. Those work teams meet normally virtually on Zoom through the year. And once a year, we try to get everybody on those work teams together in a thing we call Reach Forward. We've done that now for 2 different times. And we decided this year that we're going to hold it in the town where the Reach right after that is going to happen. So in the summer of 2023, we're going to meet in Charlotte, because in Charlotte, 2024 is where it's going to be hosted at Hopewell Baptist Church. So that's on in the end of July for 2 days. Just a very quick gather together. We plan for the future year. We rejoice and build relationships with each other. So that's a little bit about how people could get involved. There's lots of different opportunities along your passion. that we'd love to see you serve in those roles. You guys want to add anything to what I've said?
I just want to go further on what you said. Please, we need help. Anybody that wants to get involved. This is more organic than it is organized. It is organized. I don't mean to insult anybody, but it needs to go the direction that people that are involved in the leadership of it think that it needs to go because of what they're realizing and experiencing out there. So yeah, we need people.
I'm not able to speak to this or at this time, but I know that there are people that have specific pieces and they don't know that they can give that piece to someone else. And so I think I just want you to know, if you are in sports ministry at any level, whether you're a volunteer at a church or whether you're a coach or whether you're an athlete, this place can change the direction of how you do your job and how somebody else's job could be done. So it just encourage you that don't be discouraged. If you're the only one doing something at your church, you could probably help somebody else do that.
And I sit on that track team that we kind of put together the tracks every year, and we have a small group of guys that get together that plan that out. Feel free to join us, but also if you have an idea of what you might do for a seminar or a webinar, not a webinar, or a workshop, and we have a spot on the website that you go to and you click on it, you can make your proposal. It's not guaranteed that you'll be asked to do it, but it's guaranteed that you won't if you don't submit something. And so submit it, and then the group takes it in. And I would say that probably well over 90% of the people that make a proposal are asked to do that within a 2 to 3 year window. Sometimes it's the right topic or right theme, but not the right year. And so please understand that we try to rotate things through. We don't always do the same thing over and over again. We do repeat some things if we think it's really necessary, but we're really trying to be fresh out there. So submit something to us and let us know. And Bob, you might want to also just talk about what it means to be a foundational partner if somebody wanted to do that.
Yeah, that's a great, thank you, Greg. So, and I'll mention that as well as if you would like to be a sponsor potentially at the,
yes.
But so the foundational partners provide that directional leadership. Where are we going as our part of the movement? And it's very relationally based. We would like those foundational partners to come from one of two places, either churches that are involved in sports rec and fitness, and or ministries like the three of us that serve local churches in sports rec and fitness. And there is a financial involvement in that, because what we try to do is make this, we try to provide the money to just cash flow the aspects of Reach, while registrations are coming in to replenish a fund like that. So there's a one-time commitment financially, and then there's an agreement to the what we call the foundational principles and the purpose of Reach. And then there's a relational connection. We typically will spend a great deal of time with that person if they want to get to be a part of a foundational partner. There's a role also called an associate partner, which is a little less of an involvement in terms of financially, and usually involves leading one of the work teams, if not initially, then eventually at that level. And then if you'd like to be a sponsor, and your ministry and or company serves the local church leaders like we talked about, and we have a number of those, we welcome you coming. There's different levels of that sponsorship, and if you'll go on the website again, you'll see a tab that says sponsors, and you can click and notice and note the different levels, and then there's a way to get in touch with the person that's overseeing that. So we'd welcome that. We'd love to have you in any of those roles. And if you want further information, You can contact any of the three of us for sure, as well as I believe, if I remember correctly, there's a contact for more information on the website that'll eventually get to the right person as well.
And again, we want to remind you to find all this information or to contact the right people, as you just heard, REACHGathering.org. So if you're interested in participating and being a part of things in the future, that's kind of your home base to find out more information, to contact the right people. And we're going to kind of tease what we're going to go into the next session as we end this session here. So a lot of our involvement we're asking for is in the future. As we end this session, we're going to talk about in the next podcast, what are some future trends, or what are some things that you kind of see happening in this sports ministry movement, sports rec and fitness, that maybe we can address when it comes to future Reach Gathering. So we're going to end this session here, and we'll talk about that for the next session, which you won't want to miss. So thank you so much for joining us here today. And again, on behalf of CSRM and Seed Sports and Uncharted Water Sports, we're talking about Reach Reflections and as we head into the future together. So thank you so much for your time. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
The CSRM podcast is a production of CSRM and their production house, Overwhelming Victory. Dr. Craig Linville is the executive producer, and Scott Stedman is the associate producer and editor. To learn more about CSRM, visit csrm.org. For more information about Overwhelming Victory, visit overwhelmingvictory.org. The CSRM podcast is the flagship member of the podcast network Overwhelming Victory Radio. For more information on Overwhelming Victory Radio, or to listen to our partner podcasts, visit overwhelmingvictory.org/OV Radio. For CSRM Podcasts, I'm Mike Maloney. Have a blessed day.